Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. So I have been creating content for quite some time now, but I have been posting to Instagram and TikTok and a little bit to Facebook as well. But I was told by a friend that the best way for me to get my message out is to start creating longer videos and to put these out onto YouTube and other platforms. So that's exactly what I'm going to do, because my main goal here is to help as many people as I possibly can. So, where do we go from here? I'm going to speak about something that I've actually been going through myself quite a bit. And one of the biggest things that I've been dealing with, I didn't actually realize how deep this actually went. And that is that feeling of not feeling good enough. I'd have to say that over the last few years, I'd really felt to myself like, okay, I'm getting better. I'm stopping caring so much about what everybody else thinks about things. I got to the point where I was kind of like, whatever, and let people think whatever they want. But in the moment, key people especially when I really look up to that person, and it's a lot worse. But I did notice that when I got criticism, it really struck home. And I never realized why. And I've been really working on this because I've been seeing little snippets of this rear its ugly head throughout everywhere in my life, really. For instance, just driving, right? If I'm driving along, and I'd give you a story of what happened the other day. Basically, driving down the road, happily, merrily, everything's okay. I had a lot of people in the car. I had another 4 people in the car, and there was me as well. Now, I'm driving a BMW. It is a 3 Series, and it's very low, so there's not much clearance at all. And basically, I'm driving over some speed humps. I've got to go pretty slowly. We're going off and we're going to go to, it was a farmer's market. So really going to have a good day, a good relaxing day, let's go out. Yeah, I've got guests around. What fun. And then I had some woman sitting up my ass. But not sitting up my ass, but sitting up my ass, right? And I looked back and I just saw how disgruntled this woman was in the mirror behind me. How frustrated she was at me being in front of her. Now, I was still within the speed limit. Okay, I wasn't rolling along or anything ridiculous like that. I was going a bit slower than probably, I definitely wasn't going at the max. So what happens from here is she starts getting a bit closer, and then I'm taking over the speed humps. And as I go over the speed humps, obviously I'm going quite slowly. Once again, I was literally touching the bottom of my car when I was going over these humps. So I need to go slowly. She was so close behind me that she was on the hump as I was going over it, right? So I could see in my mirror that she was actually going over the hump at the same time as me. This started to get to me a little bit, as you can imagine that it would. But I never realized in that moment, or in any of the other moments before that, what it was that I was really getting upset about. You see, I had the same situation, it was about 2 days ago. And true Bob, it was also a woman that came in, and basically what had happened was I had pulled into a lane and was trying to, basically there were some roadworks happening, and the 2 lanes now became 1 lane, and I needed to filter in as I turned into the last lane. Basically, the woman came in, she was flying down this lane. I was totally relaxed though, and she slowed down. I couldn't tell if she was going or coming, so basically I slowed down even more just to make sure that I wasn't going to get into an accident. And then she basically just stopped. And then I looked into the mirror and I basically, I just started to go, which is fine. But I could just see the look on her face, that pure venom. Oh my God, she was so angry. The audacity of me to not be driving how she wants me to drive right then and there. How dare I inconvenience her? And when I thought about it from that perspective, and then I thought to myself, you know what, this poor woman is probably having the worst bloody day ever. Something bad must have happened to her for her to be in such a bad mood right now, right? Something happened that really pushed her over the edge. Either that or she's just living in this constant mindset where it's just always dragging her down. She's in the pit all the time. And either way, it doesn't make a difference. It's not a good place to be. And I started to laugh. And I started to laugh not because I thought it was bad. I started to laugh because of how I realized I was taking it, how I was reacting to what was going on. See, I had the opportunity right then and there to lose my crap like I do, or like I have done many times in the past, but I didn't. I chose to reframe the situation. I stepped out of it. I looked at it objectively, as much as I could anyway. And I had to take a moment to think to myself, okay, hold on. I refuse to let this get me angry now. I'm not going to let her or anybody else get me angry today and remove my peace. My peace is mine and mine alone, and I'm the one who gets to choose whether or not I'm going to lose it. This has taken me many, many, many years to learn, and it's only really starting to hit home now, and I still make mistakes consistently. But it is so helpful and will absolutely transform your experience of life if you can figure this out and you can get it going. I saw this really great example the other day about somebody else stealing your peace, and the example was basically, imagine somebody walking up to you, a random person on the street, somebody that you do not know, in a different country, and they start speaking to you and they are saying whatever they're saying, but they're saying it in a foreign language or a different language to what you can understand. So obviously you cannot understand what's going on right now. All right, so what they say to you, even if they are saying the most profane, insulting things in the world, if they manage to maintain a very calm sort of face while they're doing it, and you don't understand what the words themselves mean, you're not going to get upset, right? You don't get upset. We don't get upset by the words that people say to us. We are not upset by situations. We get upset when we allow ourselves to be impacted by those in a way that we don't want to be. Now we have control. We can choose what emotions we want to have. I heard Tom Ballou speaking about training yourself in these situations and how he can take this criticism when it comes from people, and basically what he's able to do is he's trained himself so well that now the moment someone starts to give him criticism, his body automatically flips into this state of gratitude where he starts to become inquisitive and thankful that someone's giving him information that he can use now to better himself and to move further along his path to his goal, where he wants to go. He's using all of this information in a way that it's going to be constructive, and if it can't be, you just let it go through the sieve. Just let it go through the holes. Just let it fall to the ground and keep what you can. And I just thought that was such a brilliant way to look at things. I've heard it so many times that people, you just can't let them get to you, can't let them get to you, but it's so hard. And I can't imagine how anyone has that amount of control over their emotions all the time. So what I've realized is that it's not actually controlling the emotion, but rather selecting the appropriate emotion. Perhaps not the emotion appropriate to the situation, but to what you want to happen in your life. Because we can take things on, we can take a meaning on that might be true, it might not be. It might be that person's truth. That might think a certain thing about you, but it doesn't change a damn thing. Not if you know what the truth actually is. And this is something I've been working through for the last little while. And I suppose I never had an actual definition as to what being good enough was. Now that is something so ridiculous. And I think we just walk through life like this so much of the time. I never for a moment thought about it and thought, oh my God, what is this? What is this definition that you've got for feeling good enough? So I started to think, well, what is good enough for me? What is good enough for me? And I realized that the definition that I actually have for this is for everybody to like me all of the time. Now that's obviously impossible. Because even if I did everything right all the time, I can guarantee that not everybody would like me all of the time anyway. I have set myself an impossible standard to fulfill. Every single situation I approached with a failure mindset. I would go into a situation not feeling good enough or worried that somebody would think that I was not good enough. So now I knew what I was believing. I know what I was believing. I know that it is clearly ridiculous and it is impossible, right? So what is the real definition then? So that was the right question. I started to ask myself and just started to think, and I realized that for me, honestly, all it really is that I am consistently getting better, that I'm consistently stepping up. I do not need to be perfect. I do not need to be where I should be or where I think I should be right now already. I don't need anything to change in the physical around me that anybody else can be impressed with. What I do need is to be certain that I am giving it my all and I'm getting better every single day. Now, like I said, it might not be perfect, but as long as I can honestly say that I'm getting better every single day, every single week, that I'm consistently improving and headed towards the person that I have chosen to become, then I am good enough. I'm good enough by my definition. Now that changed everything for me, because I know that nobody else, no exes, no teachers, no anybody that I've ever felt rejected by or anybody in this world can say anything to me that can actually make me not good enough. They can say it to me. They can all stand around me and scream it at me and tell me how pathetic and useless I actually am. But as long as I remember that inside of me, my truth, my definition of what this is that I'm just striving every single goddamn day to try and get better, then that means that I am good enough. I am good enough, and I am the one that makes the decision of what this definition will be. So here's the thing. All right. This was this epiphany. It came through to me, and it's been happening in little, like, sort of dollops along the way over the last week. I'd say that I've had this, and I've had different opportunities that I've been presented with in order to test these new skills out. And by opportunities, I mean situations that have really pissed me off or made me feel really insecure, right? And I got a little bit weirded out because basically I'd figured this all out with an exercise I'd done recently. And once I'd done the exercise, I thought to myself, oh my gosh, why did I just react in the old way now when I know things are different? And I thought about it, and I actually do feel differently about everything and about the way that everything was going. And even that specific situation where I still reacted in a way that wasn't necessarily the way that I wanted to react. And then, yeah, I realized that I had these old neural networks that are in my brain. And these neural networks are obviously all set up. Bad habits, good habits, whatever you have, they're all set up here. You've got networks running through. And while I am in the process of, like I said, Tom Baliu does, I want to install this so it becomes more automatic. And that is that when I am feeling that threat, that's somebody saying something to me, standing in front of me, saying something to me, that I feel is salt in the wound, pressing their finger in. If I get that feeling, I need this to automatically snap back. And I need to remember that not only am I good enough, but that I can now learn something. This is a teachable moment. There's something here that's going to come out. And even if I dismiss everything that they've said, I've still learned something out of it. And the true prize in this whole situation is really just being able to stay chill. So if I can get myself through that, I see that as a win. My friend had a go at me the other night because I'd started to basically express what I'm telling you right now. Now, the intentions were right, and I completely understand where they were coming from. So I needed to really take this information on. This is also somebody that I really look up to. So therefore, it made it a lot harder. And the fact that it was me trying to tell good news and then being sort of shot down, which is how I felt it. Yeah, it kind of threw me for a loop, and that was just as I was actually explaining how happy I was that I'd managed to do this and I was making such great progress. She called me out on it, and that's good because she was right. And while it felt like, I'm being attacked or whatever else, she was right. And I had a go at her right then and there as well. And, later on I had to have a laugh because I sent her a voice note just saying, you know what, you're totally right. Well, yeah. But the thing is that I really do need to look at this with a lot more urgency than I have been. Or do I? I think both are true. She'd spoken to me, saying to me the time is running out, that she was unhappy to see somebody with so much potential who wasn't living up to it. I found it a little bit weird. It took me back a bit because I honestly feel like I am using my potential and really pushing myself forward. And I can see this everywhere in my life, right? But what I didn't realize is that she was actually telling me it's time to step up again. It's okay with being on the journey. But when we arrive at the point that it's time for us to step up into the next part of that journey, then it's always really great to have a friend around that's willing to tell you the truth. So this entire journey is really being a struggle. Like I said, I've got that old neural network firing off all the time. I have started to form the new one, and it is there. It is a little bit thinner than the other one, but the more I use this one, the more I strengthen it, and the less I use this one, the more it starts to break down. So yeah, this is where I'm at right now. This is the journey that I'm on, trying to do something which should be so simple. But it really is so freeing every single time that I build that new neural network up. And I not only say to myself, because you can say it until you're blue in the face, right? Oh, I am good enough. It was about having that definition. And then not only having that definition, but telling myself in the moment and forcing myself to feel that emotion, to invoke that emotion. We have control of the emotions we feel. We can bring in any emotion we choose to feel. I know this to be true. And I'm sure that you know it to be true as well, and I could prove it to you, but what I can say is that gratefulness, that emotion, invoking that emotion, bringing it on and holding on to it and practicing it every single day has transformed my experience of life. Absolutely transformed it. From something where I hated everything to somewhere where I'm really excited. And I'm so far from where I want to be right now, but God damn it, I'm working on it. And being grateful just makes it so much more pleasurable. Anyway, I've rambled on and I've gone everywhere, all over the place today. I definitely didn't stay on topic. But I hope that you've enjoyed yourself. And I hope that I've been able to teach you something. And I'd love to hear from you if you want to drop comments in the section below. So have a fantastic day.